Hello. Hi everyone. Good evening. Welcome to my Ayurved live series. Today is the third in the series, and I am really thankful for technology that we are able to connect through this platform. Um, Good. So if you're here, just say hello. Let's take a couple minutes to say hello and let people tune in, and then I will start sharing a few things that I have on my mind today. I can see only one eye right now, so if you want to say hello, it just helps me to know that I'm audible and visible. So whoever is here, say hello whenever you get a chance. I think I'm a little early, so yeah, we'll give it a couple minutes for people to tune in. Hello. I see someone else has joined. Just say hello in comments. That's really nice to hear hello. Three eyes now. Okay, who's here? Okay. Just say hello to me in the comment section so that I know I'm audible and visible. I'm sure I am, but it's good to hear a confirmation. So I'm going to hang around few more seconds actually, not a minute, to hear from you, and then we'll get started. Okay, all right. I have some notification now, so means I am live. Okay. All right. Once again, welcome to my Ayurved Facebook live series. Today is the third in the sequence. Um, why Sherry? It's always on my page. Okay, Sherry, I'll send you a personal message next time. Namaskar, namaskar. Okay, so I'll get started. If you have been following my page, I think okay, I'll speak louder. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. So if you have been following my page, you know that I'm going to talk about Agni today. Is that better? Is the volume better? I think it was also the cell phone was a little low on the volume. Am I audible now? Okay, I am going to assume I am. So, if you have been following my Ayurved page and the event page that I have created for the live series, um, okay, could be network issue on your end, Sherry. Am I streaming continuously for everybody else? Please let me know. I don't see any stoppage on my end, so I'm not sure. Okay, keep chatting with me if you have any issue hearing me or seeing me. Good. So as you may have seen on the Facebook page, thank you, Ram. I'm going to be talking about Agni today. It's a very critical key topic in Ayurveda. We are we are direct. Our health is a direct result of the state of our Agni. So I'm going to try and cover in a very simple manner, in a very understandable manner, because I know a lot of people who are tuning in right now and who are going to listen later on are not necessarily from the field of Ayurveda. I'm going to keep it very understandable, and keep chatting with me if you need to know the meaning of any term that I use, which I'm going to try and avoid actually. No technical terms, no, very complex Ayurvedic terms. So, The topic for today is take care of your Agni and Agni will take care of you. Okay. So Agni is a Sanskrit term, and the simple translation of the word Agni means fire. Okay. Historically, fire is the invention of fire was a very important one. It was a game changer. It changed the way human beings lived. It allowed them to become agrarians and a more settled species versus the wandering nature of their life prior to the invention of fire. And as we see in the nature around us, the use of fire is multifold. Within our homes, we use fire to cook the food we eat, to bring it in a form that is eatable. And when I say Agni, it's not just the fire, it is any kind of heat principle is denoted by the term Agni. So just with that broad understanding, now let's dive into the topic how Agni is present inside us and how critical it is for our health as well as immunity. That is the key thing in context of the current crisis. The relation of Agni to immunity is also something I will try to establish today. How many of you have seen the picture that I have put of Agni, the small write-up that I had put up on the My Ayurved page and the event page for today? Did you all see what I have written about Agni? I have a printout here, but the camera is going to turn it, so anyway, so I'm going to assume that you have seen it, and if you have not, you can go back and see it. So I have mentioned two things right in the beginning, that according to Ayurveda, immunity is directly dependent on. So Susan, you can go on My Ayurved and you'll be able to see, or you can go on the Facebook Live event page and you will see I have put up a picture there that I'll be discussing this today. So immunity, very broadly speaking, is dependent on two main key factors in Ayurveda. One is Agni, and I'll talk about it, and the other is Ojas. Ojas, I will not be talking in great detail, but Ojas is primarily the essence of the tissues in the body. It is a measure of the health of tissues in the body, is how, is the most simply I can say, I can put it. So Ojas is an indicator or a factor that allows you to measure the health of the tissues in the body. You can say like that. So if Ojas is low, then the health of the tissues is low. That is what it indicates. And the health of Ojas itself, or how optimal it is and how much in balance it is, also depends on the health of the Agni. So although immunity depends on two major factors, Agni and Ojas, the health of Ojas itself depends on the state of the Agni. Yes, I do. I do. I am Muhammad Hussain. Yes, I do. And my name is Pratibha Shah. Thank you for saying that. My name is Pratibha Shah, and my business name or company name is My Ayurved. Ayurved, not Ayurveda, My Ayurved. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. YouTube and Instagram are very recently launched. Hi, Orally. There is not a whole lot of content there, but there is some content there. So you can definitely follow me there. Yes, everything is on. Can you please write? Okay. Mohammad Hussain, I promise I will write at the end of the talk. I will remember to write. So thank you for asking for that. Yeah, Pratibha Shah. Yes, I will. And My Ayurved. My space Ayurved. Okay. So Agni, then becomes the single most important factor on which the health of our entire being depends, and immunity depends on Agni. Okay, so now let's try and understand that. I will write, Muhammad Hussain, I will write at the end, and if any of the listeners, if you can write my Ayurved on my behalf, I'll be thankful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Anuradha. Yes. So now let's start to understand what is Agni and how does it function inside our body. So Agni is, as it's simple to understand, it is fire, or it is the thermal energy in principle inside our body. Okay. Now think about when we eat, when we operate, when we function, what keeps us going? It is the food we eat. The food we eat gets digested by Agni again. Okay, think of the stovetop and think of our stomach, our entire colon, our entire abdomen, actually, not just the stomach, but the small intestine, the the duodenum, the associated organs of digestion, the pancreas, the liver, etc. So this entire system is representative of the main Agni in our body. According to Ayurveda, there are 13 Agnis, but the main Agni is Jaఠragni. So think of Jaఠragni as the stovetop inside us. Just as the stovetop outside our body cooks the food and transforms it into a state where we can ingest it and handle it. We cannot eat rice raw, we cannot eat wheat raw. We need to transform it into a state where it can be ingested and handled by the body. Once we ingest it, then the Jaఠragni, the stovetop inside our body, then cooks it further and transforms it and breaks it down into elements that can be utilized by our body. Okay, when we eat an apple, it necessarily is not directly usable by the muscle tissue or the bone tissue or other tissues and organs in the body. But when we process it through our gut, through our cooktop inside our body, then it gets transformed into entities that can be utilized by the cells and tissues of our body. Now think about it, that if this stovetop is not working properly, okay, if your gas top, oven top, cooktop is not working properly, what will happen? Your food will not be transformed ideally or optimally. Same thing happens when our internal cooktop, which is Agni, is not in an optimal state. Then what happens? That uncooked material results, and what the fuel that the body needed, it did not get it. So there is lack of energy, there is fatigue, and there is leftover unrecognizable material, which then acts like a toxin in the body, and that is called ama. But I'm not going to talk much about ama today. So that is the primary function of Agni that I want you to understand today, is transforming what we ingest into elements that can be recognized and used by the body. And then come the other 12 Agnis, which are basically the 5 Bhuta Agnis and the 7 Dhatva Agnis. And you don't have to remember these terminologies, but I would like you to think about it in this way, that every cell and every tissue has its own innate intelligence. Okay, every cell is a complete living entity in its own. It has its own little mini world. Okay, the cell is also on a day-to-day basis eating, functioning, means it has its job, it has its tasks lined out every day, and then it's also pooping out. Okay, depending where this cell is, it may also be contributing to specific functions. For example, if the cell is in an endocrine gland, then its function is to secrete out some kind of hormone. Okay, if it's in the stomach, its function could be to secrete hydrochloric acid. If it's in the pancreas, its function could be to secrete pancreatic juice, etc. So every little entity in our body is a complete being in its own. Now, if their own internal innate intelligence, which is the cellular Agni, think about it, is under functioning or suboptimal, the cell will also have trouble processing or completely assimilating what it is supposed to assimilate, and also trouble eliminating from the cell. Okay, all the functions of processing, assimilating and eliminating are all impacted but if the cellular Agni is also under functioning. So what happens? Cellular intelligence is extremely important in determining our state of immunity, because every cell has an innate intelligence to recognize what is me and what is not me. So what is me, what is self, and what is the other. And this is what the primary function of immunity is to recognize what is self and what is the other, and then the rest follows. Once the other is determined and recognized, then the immune system evokes a response where the other needs to be eliminated or removed. And when this intelligence is disturbed, then the differentiation between the self and the other is diminished or eliminated, whereby one sees an autoimmune response. Okay, that is where autoimmune diseases germinate. Look up the triad of autoimmune diseases. I think I mentioned it in one of my previous lives. But this is very important to understand, that every cell, every tissue, every organ, and then our entire being has its own central Agni or fire. And this fire is very important, okay? Now, in the real world, means in the world outside us, what happens that for sterilizing, for autoclaving, for sanitizing, don't we use thermal energy? Tell me yes or no. What is the best way to, unfortunately, how are we burning the corpses at this time? I do not share my number, Mr. Hussain. My website is good enough. You can send me an email from there. There are many ways to contact me through social media as well. Thank you. So in the world outside us, we use fire to sterilize, to sanitize, and to clean. Whether it's direct fire or thermal energy. Is that correct? I'll give you another example. When we go to clean our kitchen sink, when we have been using it for several days and we haven't had a chance to clean it, it becomes greasy and grimy. Would you use cold water to clean it, or would you use hot water to clean it? Any one or two people can answer. I just want to make sure I'm making my point. Would you use cold water to clean the grimy kitchen sink or hot water? Hot. Thank you, Susan. Yes. So I think that point is clear, that for cleaning our insides also, when we are talking about, see, first of all, we have to understand that from the mouth to the anus, it is a continuous pipe. It is a continuous pipe. Okay. So this continuous pipe is our digestive system, and that itself needs a certain amount of warmth to continue to keep it clean. Okay. Maintenance is a big thing. Maintenance is a big thing. You cannot maintain the health of the colons without periodic cleansing. Okay, I'm not talking about deep detox or panchakarma or specialized cleaning therapies. I'm talking about day-to-day cleaning, like every 2-3 days we are doing vacuum and other things, right, to clean, keep the house clean. Similarly, when we clean the kitchen sink, we are using hot water. So that is one point I would like you to write down, that especially at this time when we are moving less, because moving also helps with flushing out. Okay, movement helps with cleaning. We see that, right? I mean, we try to